Okay, so I'm gonna do a bit of a video explain a few things, and where organisations got it wrong. You can hear I've had a flu. I've actually had a bad flu for the last 3 weeks. It's killing me. I can just rattling in my chest. It's exhausting me. You can hear it in my nose, hear it in my throat. So, with this video, the way it turns out, you're just gonna have to forgive the way I sound. So, in the last 10 years, I've been told I converted to Islam. The beard, the black hair. My hair's been near jet black since I was I was a blonde kid. Not kid, sorry, excuse me, correction. I was a blonde baby and a blonde toddler only. Both my grandparents have jet black hair, meaning Stanley Fleming, who looks Arabic and actually looks Islam. That's where I get it from, Dad's father. And my mum's father, Reginald George Purdy. So there should be no we'll talk about that. My hair is jet black naturally. My beard's jet black naturally. I look Arabic because of Dad's father's side, and I do actually have Lebanese cousins on Dad's side. I'm going to go through some information that I did with immigration and try to get them to understand where they've got it wrong, or where some people who've gathered false information has it wrong. Bear with me because I'm losing my voice and I'm really full of allergies. I'm going to do this while my dog's still asleep and having his little morning nap, so I don't get any disruptions. So I literally had an organisation say personality disorder in the last 10 years. It's not personality disorder. And this came from people, I guess, the area that my mother lives. Now, there is facts that my grandmother Lola May Keegan, yes, Keegan, her father was a Keegan, her mother was a Sayer. Her great-grandmother was French. My nana Lola has always brought this up to the point that I was in their place in Kerry Road in the suburbs, and it was in the 90s, about mid-90s. France was doing nuclear testing off an island somewhere. Look it up. I just remember, I haven't looked, find the facts. I just remember this being a news article. Reg was sitting in the chair near the doorway, turned to Lola, who was sitting on the long seat, and said, "I wouldn't be telling people you're French anymore, Lola." She goes, "Oh, righto, Reg." I'm like, "Are you French now?" She goes, "Yes, Justin, because your name's Keegan. My pop's name's Purdy. Your name's Keegan." She goes, "My great-grandmother, like Julia was French and Irish. Bridget was French. Bridget Dufresne. That's how long." Okay, so there's family members on mum's side that don't know the information. It's going to pretty much stick with what I've said in the past. They never gave my nan as much time as I did. That's why I know most of the information with the family, because I was very close to Nan Lola. I was very close to Nan's mother Mary. I was very close to Nan's uncle Leo Patrick Sayer. Alright, put that aside. I'm still born in the western suburbs of Sydney. I'm still born and spent most of my life being raised in the western suburbs, although the longest period of my life I've lived in the city. Alright, so there's the facts as well. I did do high school in a different area. Did high school in Tamworth. There is Lebanese cousins on my dad's side, that's correct. As for me knowing Arabic, I went to St. Aidan's Roman Catholic School in Rooty Hill. I started there in 1984. One of the languages I learnt when I first started there was Latin. The other languages, because it was a strict Roman Catholic school, was how to translate the Bible from Aramaic, ancient, well, not so much Greek, but that was part of it, and Hebrew, which is why there's Baruch Atah, am I saying it right? Baruch Atah Adonai. God. I should know this one, because it is in the Roman Catholic Bible. So this is why. Plus, growing up listening in an ethnic area, which I did, and everyone seems to dismiss this. My grandfather, Reginald George Purdy, he vowed never to visit my mother when she moved. Okay. Pops from Balmain Roselle moved to Blacktown in 1962. His friends were like the Zemets, which was Charlie and Frank Zemet, Laurie, I can't think of Laurie's last name now, Maltese. He used to always have the Lebanese and the Maltese and everyone over his place all the time. And from a young age, I heard the word shamulta, more than anything else. And you forget this. He'd be out in the harness shed fixing people's harness gear. So like Pop was a jack of all trades. Raced pigeons, raced horses, and he's a butcher. Then he worked for John Smiles and did detailing at family boat. Well, not detail, sorry. He did boat rewiring. at, like, so wide the boats, at Family Boats for John Smart, which was just off Sunny Hot Road there in Blacktown. I learnt languages at a young age. Before I actually started concentrating with them at school, I just picked them up. So there's that. However, when I started first really focusing on Lebanese was in the year 2000. I was working in Church Street, Parramatta during the Olympics. So actually focusing on trying to get full sentences together without just picking up words. Okay. But when it comes to things like French, that was 1992 and 1993. Italian, I started in 1995. So I'm checking to make sure that my dog isn't barking or going off. 1995. Now I can confirm with this, and I don't feel like I need to. Okay, when I first met John Cabino in 2005, he was in Gowans trying on a pair of underwear. All right, there was a friend of his sitting out the front, Kim Davis from Mossman. He flung, First of all, he yells out to Kim that they were too tight. And what I say, hang on, let me try and think. Babino mutande molto grande culo bellissimo was the first words I said to John Cabino. Small undies, beautiful fat ass. Flung the door open and said, who's this Italian? It's like, no. And the confusion comes because, so there's a bit of mum's side, I've told you. So you want to get to mum's side facts? Yeah, it is. Nan's great-grandmother is Bridget Dufresne French. Her great-grandfather is Matthew Ryan, or Matthew Joseph Ryan, Irish. Their daughter, so Julia Ryan, married George Sayer, an Englishman. So there you've got the French, Irish, and English, and then had my great-grandmother there. And a story of that. Dad's side, you start looking at Stanley Fleming, and that's where I've spoke to Dad's mother's brother, so Uncle George Hill, and got his intake on what he thought what nationality Stanley was. And I've already explained this. It's actually in the detailed statute declaration that I've done for immigration. Now, oh, by the way, besides my mum doing her little scam in 2017, if you ever watched the DVD from 2007, so we're using my place as a set, you are going to see predominantly most of my belongings and assets. So Jeremy Patterson, who was a neighbour who lived above me in 2 of 392 Cleveland Street, that's the one that had the house fire, not me. Their house fire affected me. I've been saying this for years. People, I literally thought I had a house fire, and I'm like, so how'd you start the house fire? I'm like, I never had a house fire. Like, why do you think I had a house fire? Well, Giovanni said, I'm like, we never had the house fire. And I look at Giovanni and goes, well, I'm like, our neighbours had the house fire, and our neighbour's house fire affected our place. So it wasn't in our place, it was in our neighbour's place, and it came through to ours. Giovanni said, oh, when we had the house fire, I'm like, Jesus Christ, that's why people have so much false information. We did not have a house fire. Our neighbours had a house fire. I was affected by my neighbour's house fire. That was in Jeremy Patterson's place, but when Bobby May and Anna May was living there, Bobby May was a teenager. Somehow he accidentally set fire to his room. They were Indian students from overseas. I joke around, say he must have been cooking in his bedroom. Anyway. So stick with the factual information. I've been saying this for years. Giovanni goes off half-cocked and tells people one story, and then I have to go and correct it. It's been going on since 2009. I'm like, why do you think we had the house fire? Because Giovanni said you had a house fire. I'm like, we never had a house fire. Because, well, we did. It's like, no, Giovanni. Number 2 had a house fire. We were number 1. We got affected by the house fire of number 2. That's what you tell people. And it's like, no, because now you got people thinking that we've had a house fire. And that's what was going on for years. So even Housing Commission, I'm like, so now you've got a Housing Commission thinking that we had the house, like, oh, how'd the house fire start? How do I know? Ask Bobby May. You know, I literally have people go, did you fall asleep smoking? What are you talking about? I never had a house fire. My neighbour had a house fire. Their house fire affected me. And it's been going around in these vicious circles for, well, that was in 2012. So there you go. 13 years. I'm like, this is why I say, why are you getting information from Giovanni for? Can you just get it straight from me? This is what he's always done. It's like a massive big story. Like, oh, when Justin had their house fire. What rubbish. Never had the house fire. We had to move because of our neighbour's house fire. That's what you say to people. Or we had to move because our neighbours had a house fire. Because that's actually the truth. We moved because our neighbours had a house fire. So when you start looking around my belongings, you're going to see a lot of this in the place in Surrey Hills. It's actually in photos. You'll see my lamps in photos and the Christmas party photos in December 2008. You're going to see the artwork. You're going to see the items and so forth. I already had this. Go and watch the DVD from 2007 when we're using my place as a set for a movie. We're using my assets and my belongings for a set for a movie. Okay, this is what I've been saying for the last 10 years. I have no idea where anybody got their information from, but you didn't receive it from me, and it's wrong. Everything that everybody has is completely wrong, and it's absolutely insane, and I'm not going to put up with it. I've got enough health problems. Oh God, I hope my hot water system's continuous. Jesus Christ, please don't put one that heats up and cools down. Put a fucking continuous one. Make sure that hot water system never stops. I get too much chest infections and skin problems. Make sure it doesn't fucking stop. I can't stand electric hot water systems. I like gas where it's continuous. Little box gas on the wall. It's more efficient as well. Anyway, so look, getting back to this. There was a marble top commode that I brought in 2005. It's a Louis XIV style marble top commode. I purchased at Raffer and Keller in 2005, which used to be near Booth Street. This marble top commode was in my place in St. Leonard's. Okay, it was in my place in Surrey Hills. It was in my place in Rushcutters Bay. I moved it into my place, okay, in Palmer Street. My mother comes with her little games, and she does this. Runs her finger along the top of the marble and goes, "Oh, this is beautiful. Is it new?" I'm like, "Oh, what's Carol doing now? What has she done to scam for Faith fucking Rackley?" I'm like, "It's not new, Mum. This is, I've had this for years." "Oh, I don't remember." I was like, "You bullshit. You're up to something. You're up to something again. Bullshit. That marble top commode I've had since 2005. You know that. It was in Surrey Hills. It was in St. Leonard's. Like, bullshit. She was up to fucking something again." And I'll tell you now, in 2016, I was playing a prank on Peter Fry and Belinda Jeffries. You see, if you have a look here, see that statue there? That used to be in my bedroom at Nan and Pop's in 2003. I actually purchased it from Munro's Mill in Tamworth, an antique shop. I've had it for that long. You can see it in all the photos. Now, when I was being a smart ass and pretending I have all it, I don't remember. I've got short-term memory loss. And I was being a cunt to these idiots because they're just idiots, right? And they're going, "Oh my God." So I commissioned to have this statue made, and I didn't remember that I even commissioned and paid all this money for an artist to make it until it turned up. I was doing this in 2016. That was bullshit. I had this since 2003. The same as other stuff. I just wanted to see what people were up to and what scams are going to play when they think that I'm having a breakdown or I'm mentally retarded or whatever. Right? So the accurate information that you're going to get will be coming directly from me. Now, I have lived most of my life in the city, and out of all the grandchildren, I spent most of my time. I was loved by my great-grandmother Mary, who moved back into 43 Piper Street, Leichhardt, in 1989. That's the house she raised my grandmother Lola in. It was owned by her brother, Leo Patrick Sayer, who we called Uncle Fred. However, Leo, or Uncle Fred, used to live in Bellevue Hill when my great-grandmother was raising her kids there. And then when he got older, and this is after the 80s, or no, around that time actually, the 80s, I'm saying, or 70s or something, he moved into the place then. But in the 1940s and 1950s, he was living in Bellevue Hill, not far from Nan's cousin, Tommy Williams. Yeah, Tommy Williams is Nan's cousin. Gary Williams is Nan's cousin. Sorry, Tommy Williams is his father. Tommy Williams is Uncle Fred's cousin. Sorry, which is Nan's uncle. Sorry. So Leo Patrick Sayer's cousin is Tommy Williams, and that's my Nan Lola's uncle. So it is May Goff is from Bellevue Hill. That's Nan's grandmother's sister. Of course, their maiden name's Ryan. So Julia Ryan, May Ryan, and Annie Ryan. Julia Sayer, May Goff, and Annie Williams Shawkner. May Goff and Annie Williams Shawkner lived in Bellevue Hill. These were the relatives that Nan used to go and visit by travelling on the tram from Leichhardt to Bellevue Hill and going to see her grandmother at her grandmother's sister's house, along with her cousin Gary Williams. Now, I spoke to Gary Williams at Margaret Keegan's. Yes, I know the family very well. I'm the only person who used to travel around these family members. I spoke to Gary Williams at Margaret Keegan's funeral around August 2003 it was. August 2003. And yeah, we were talking about his grandmother's house then. So I know all the story about his grandmother's house in Bellevue Hill. Gary said it was, massive. He couldn't manage on his own, so he sold it and lived his life. Well, he was still living in Bondi then. He may be dead now. Why is that important? Because these are family members I did spend a lot of time growing up with, more than my mother's sisters, more than my mother's sister's children, more than my own twin sister Amanda. And when it comes to doing I was going to put together a coffee table book about Uncle Fred, Leo Patrick Sayer. So having, the information on, where he was from and so forth was, very important for that. So yeah, it's still factual anyway. And it was Uncle Fred who was one of the ones that also brought it up. The amount of times I used to sit there, I used to go to Leichhardt just with Nan and Pop as well. And the times when I've been there and I'll be asking questions, and Nan's like, Uncle Fred wasn't living here, Justin, when I was growing up. It's like, well, where were you? He had his own place. Like, that's how Nan used to talk. It's like, oh, because I'd be like, I thought Uncle Fred lived here. When you're like, no, he was living here, then he was living in London, then he was here. He was always off everywhere. He had his own place. He was, and yeah, Nan even, like, it astounds me that family members who are, like my mother and her sisters, don't know as much as I do, and they don't. And I look at this and think, you never gave them time like I did. So, look, it's not important to do with my upbringing, but it is important to do with history. And that history has a lot to do with, with me doing an exhibition, Uncle Fred's work and so forth. Plus, there's the work that Uncle Fred did when he was taking photos of the seaplanes landing in Rose Bay in the 1940s. These are on record with the National Archives of Australia, plus his letters as well. And this is important to me because I was going to put that together into a coffee table book. So this is something that, I do want the correct information. Apart from that, so statutory declaration with supporting documents. And I've given this to, it's been notarized. I put it for the Department of Foreign Affairs. So basically I talk about, where I'm born, which is the suburbs of Sydney, how long I lived there, what the place was like. It was a horse stud, not far from Parramatta. Where my parents are born, where my mum's born, and so forth. Talk about my, who was from the first marriage. So my dad, Mark Infant, this all was done for immigration. So that's why it was all done professionally as well. So it can't be disputed. And, what it was like growing up there, because this was supposed to be done for me moving to another country so they get a good idea of my background, of who I am and the family members. My mother's behaviour in the last 10 years has just really fucked this up. It's like, you're an idiot. You are an absolute idiot, because everything in here was positive. It was just basically following. So you know who I am. You know that I'm actually born in the suburbs of Sydney. However, I went to high school. I went to the last 2.5 years of primary school, then high school in another area. Okay, I lived in that area for 6 years. Here's the timeline. So I've given a really good timeline for immigration so they can know who I am as a person. And then I've just had gaslighting for 10 years. I'm like, this is ridiculous. So I did all this for immigration so they would actually be able to sit down and read and know who I am as a person, know who my family were, as you can see. And as you can see, it's also gone through Department of Foreign Affairs, which is... And then you've got my mother and I'm like, you guys are idiots. There's nothing untrue in the statutory declaration. And I actually took it to a barrister and said, can you read through all this first? Here's all the supporting documents. And he goes, there's a lot we have to remove. I'm like, even though there's factual stuff and I didn't have supporting documents at the time, they might have been in storage. So it went from like 26 pages to, what is it now? It's still long. Talks about me playing soccer as a kid at Doonside Hawks, which I did. It really does follow my entire life. And this was done this way. So it could be beneficial for me for immigration. You can sit down and be like, well, okay, so this is who you are as a person. This is what you've done. This is who your family is. And I did it like this. And next minute, for the last 10 years, I've been gaslighted, accused of having a breakdown. It's like, no. Accused of making up stories. I'm like, no. It's all true. And even, here we go, had it verified, notarized, and I passed it through. I put it passed through. I sent it into the Department of Foreign Affairs to be verified and apostilled. So there's the statutory declaration, which was at 14 pages. So I did cut it to 13. So it's been cut down from 26 pages of 30. It was big. It was long. I basically put everything in it, and we cut it down. Then I've like, okay, well, I need to get documents to back this up. So what have I got? My birth certificate. Great. What else? Well, I haven't got mum's birth certificate, but I've got mum's brothers. Well, that would do, because, for example, I was trying to find the address of my dad's. I know where my dad's father's raised. So Stanley Fleming is raised in Botany Bay. I've gone there with my dad's older sister, Sandra. Sorry, not Sandra. Sharon. Sorry. We're still fluey and sick. Gone there with Sharon, and to the property and so forth where he was in Botany Bay. I'm like, well, I've got dad's, so my grandparents, dad's father, dad's parents, wedding certificate. So for verification, I originally had a copy that my auntie gave me, and I applied for a better quality to give to immigration. So my auntie copied everything for me back in 2012. But I went, no. And I had the same thing with my mum's side. I had all the copies. I was like, you know what, I'm going to ask the government to see if I was like, here's the copies I've got. I want nice original ones to give to the government. So I did this. And then with Uncle Fred, I'm like, now I know Uncle Fred was living in this area. What have I got? So I actually asked National Archives of Australia. I said, listen, my uncle said, joke. He used to tell me a story about when, and even Mum remembers this story. She goes, it was the ships he was taking photos of. I said, no, seaplanes. And they thought he was a spy. I'm like, yeah, pretty much. I was like, Uncle Fred used to tell me as a kid, he's like, they thought I was a spy. And when you read it, it almost reads like, they almost did, you idiot. Trust Uncle Fred, Leo Patrick Sayer, to get in trouble by taking photos of a military base in the 1940s. But he was lucky enough, he was in the Queen's Army or something, merchant Navy. He was in the British Merchant Navy, and he could prove who he was. And I asked the government for the documents. Well, they gave me those documents to put as well. As for information to do with Stanley Fleming, because it was really confusing why I look the way I look. I'm like, because of Stanley. Stanley had dark skin. I was like, how am I going to prove this? I need the document. My auntie's given me a document where it says he's got dark skin, not Caucasian, he's dark skin. I'm like, I need some further documents. So I actually grabbed some documents from the military that described my dad's father, Stanley Fleming, in every document as having dark skin. And I gave that to the government to say, so this is my statutory declaration. I've explained why I look the way I do. Okay. I've explained family members. I've explained integration. Because I said, look, my family, they're like the United Nations. And like, how so? I'm like, well, there's so mixed nationalities. I said, if you just, for 1 second, just go on my Nana Lola's side. Okay. French, Irish, then her grandmother married in English. Okay. Then, so that means my great-grandmother is French, Irish, and English. Well, she married an Irishman. So you've got the extra Irish again. Then, Lola, my name was born. And then Lola married, Purdy's English, P-U-R-D-E-Y, it's English. And so forth. So there's that. But just a minute here. Because their youngest daughter, my mum's younger sister, my auntie Marianne, she married a guy who's Polish. So Uncle Richard Michalski is Polish. Okay, and this is what I was saying to immigration. I said, you got no idea. So I did grow up with Uncle Richard Michalski. But his grandmother's Russian. And his auntie, Nadia Michalski, is Macedonian. And it's like seriously, it's like blowing people's minds. I'm like, well, that's multiculturalism within my own family, right? So I'm trying to express the multiculturalism within my own family. And I said, then go to my dad's side of the family. So it's all in here. So dad's youngest sister, Linda. So Linda Fleming married Tony Pincham. Well, Tony Pincham's cousins, yes, I know how this sounds, but still, Tony Pincham's got Italian cousins. I can't remember his last name. Vince, it starts with Z, from Maryland. Okay, but their daughter, Christy Pincham, married John Saruni, Lebanese. Their children are Lebanese. So you do have Jaden, Connor, and Addison Saruni. They're my second cousins who are Lebanese. Then you go to the other one. So you've got Jessica Pincham. Well, Jessica Pincham, besides her being involved with a beautiful Islamic guy for a very long time, which is Haytham, she married him, unfortunately. I was always hoping she was going to marry Haytham. I liked Haytham. Okay. But she ended up going from after Haytham, a Brazilian guy, Chris. Chris is Brazilian, and she had a daughter, Liliana. So Liliana is half Brazilian. Therefore, that second cousin there is half Brazilian. So you see there's Polish, and you look at where the Polish side is, okay, and what they've got with the Macedonian, and Richard Mihowski's grandmother being Russian. Then you go with my dad's side of the family, you've got Lebanese, and you've got one cousin there that's half Brazilian. So you could not get more multiculturalism, right? And that's what I was trying to say. Like when it comes to bloodlines, yes, but then look what's in the family. You've got massive multiculturalism. And I was saying this as a positive, not to then have people turn around and say, oh, personality disorder. I'm like, hang on, what I actually just said was very positive, and it was meant to be taken as positive. And so let me bring the camera close. It was meant to be taken as something positive, and to say, oh wow, well, that's good. Like in your own family, they've had lots of experiences and have moved from areas and broadened their life as their change of life or their extended families grow, or their diversity grows and change in lifestyle. They move. I'm like, yeah, that's right. So that's what I was trying to get from this, to say, well, here I am as a person, but then it's a much broader picture. And I went and did the hard work years ago when I was really focused on immigration to do that. And the documents are there. Oh, by the way, I actually included the seaplanes that Uncle Fred took photos of for the for the barrister to verify first, and I had to do that. So he did verify they were taken by Uncle Fred, Leo Patrick Sayer, and I put them through, gave them into Department of Foreign Affairs to apostle those as well. So they're apostled. So there's the statutory declaration that I've emailed people, it's accurate. And then you have all of the support, and I mean everything. I mean bank statements, my birth certificate, baptism certificate. I've even put in there work experience when I did work experience in '95 at Chalaws. My school this is because you see, immigration asked about school. They asked about my primary school, and I was like, well, I went to two different primary schools. More memorable one was St. Aidan's, because I was there for a very long time, from 1984 until April 1989, and then changed schools when Mum moved. I've got my high school in there. And everything is, I've got my bank statements. Like I said, I had a lot of money in the bank, and now I want that back, please. So everything's been going through. I showed my savings, contract of sale for my investment property, everything. I probably gave them too much information, overloaded immigration. But even my curriculum at Rosary College, so they knew how good the school was, what subjects that was, there in the curriculum. And I went through and did the hard work to make sure that everything was verified. Newspaper articles with me, work, studies. When I did modelling and acting, that's me as a 25-year-old. So I did the hard work and put a massive, huge sort of lifelong statute declaration together on my timeline of life, where I've lived, what I've done, basic information on family members, before I damage this too much, because it's meant to be me keeping something nice and clean and neat for immigration. Yeah, right. This was meant to be for immigration, and I had it ready. I had this ready back in like 2011. And when my first interview was in August 2014, I didn't use it. And this time I thought, no, in the renewal, I'm going to make sure that I've got this ready and make sure it's legal this time. So I did this. And this is the information I've given people. And it's like, but this is accurate. This is accurate to my entire life and my family's life, where they've lived, timeline, everything. So there's that. And I'm going to try and keep this. I wanted to only make this as a half an hour video. Unfortunately, it's almost half an hour. So I'm going to wrap this up really quickly to say that this time, I even made sure that all my medical documents were verified. I was like, okay. I didn't hide anything from that. I had my medical checked back in Medibank Solutions that was across the road from Central Station in 2014. And I was very honest about what was going on at the time. Which should be here. Yep. So all of that in there. My studies. So all of my studies. My birth certificate. If anyone needs to question me over my birth certificate, please ask me. Just ask me myself. I can explain it better. So I've got original documents. And what happened was the barrister took the original documents. You can see these are the original documents from TAFE. Okay. My original transcripts. So cited the original documents. Photocopied them. Verified them. Notarized them. And then I've still got my stuff to do with immigration. It's really unfortunate that this happened, but what do you do? And yeah, that's my photo of me back in 2014. So, and then I went through, and so after he cited all the original documents of me. Oh, sorry, just pin that for a minute. Why I was so focusing as well on my dad's father being dark skin is because I used to always have a darker complexion to my other siblings. Although Sky Sheridan Fleming, my youngest sibling, has always had that bit of a dark olive tinge as well. My cousin Meredith Williams, who's married Brendan McGregor, she has that dark olive skin as well. And because my dad's father did have dark olive skin, Stanley Fleming had dark olive skin, it froze with me. And there's a photo of me taken in December 2011 for my passport. I've still got that original passport photo. I'm really dark. And I've had people think I was wearing makeup. I'm like, no, I was at the beach. I go really dark, and I haven't actually gone to the beach really since 2014. But I go really, really dark skinned. Okay, and in that photo, you will see how dark I can go. And that's my passport photo that was taken in Surrey Hills post office back in 2011. But look, I'm not going to, because it's already over 30 minutes, I want this to upload. So, my studies, even. So, cited and I had them all apostled. I could have gone back to this. Really could have. Oh, no, sorry, not my studies. I haven't got my glasses on. Star Casino. Sorry. Picked up the wrong document. Star Casino. Hang on. So I could have actually gone, Star Casino, which I can explain that as well, because that was supposed to be a return to work in place after I was mugged, and I was supposed to be going back to my normal duties in December 2017. Really upset, but I did go and work in the casino industry in America for Mohegan Sun. So talks about, there's my job. I've got the original documents of this. These are the copies from the original. The barrister cited the original, verified these were original documents, cited them, copied them. I think he actually copied both sides of them as well. Yes, he did. Both sides of the document, notarized them, then they've been apostled. My salary package at Star Casino, as you can see, Tabcorp, VIP host, and my salary package there. I've got the original documents of this. Everything's been proven and backed up, which is why I'm still not understanding how I could go through so much defamation and discrimination in 10 years, where it's just been wrong since 2015. And it was, I just kept saying, look, can I just have a solicitor? Just look at the facts. Can we just correct any false information that's gone around? Oh my God, I'm losing my voice. Please, please, please make sure this hot water system is continuous and doesn't shut down. This is going to really, you can hear in this video the rattling in my chest. I get chest infections I couldn't believe. And the best thing that clears everything up, please, steam it all up. I steam all this gunk up my chest. I put hot water on my back where the disc is slipped. I put hot water on my knee, and it really makes me feel better, and it makes me moving. It keeps me going. I'm really one of these people that need continuous hot water. Please, for fuck's sakes, please don't make me run out of hot water, because I just get so sick. And it's the only thing, I know, pinning what I'm doing here, but I'm like, oh my God, I've just had the plumber here. Please, Sam, the plumber. Please, Malaire. please make sure this hot water system's continuous. Please. Yeah, I absolutely really need it. Like, for me to get, like, I go through a process of maintenance with my health conditions, and I don't want to talk about them. I live with them, I maintain them, and when I'm saying I really need continuous hot water, I'm not being precious. I'm like, okay, yeah, don't tell me to have shorter showers. I've got a maintenance process to keep me healthy. Like, I'll be in the shower, be like, and besides with my bowels too, I've got a douche. Yeah, I'm not a bottom. I'm opening game on the top, but I've got bad bowels. Dads have diverticulitis, and there's bowel cancer running in my family. I found that douching or colon care fixes that. I've got bad bowels, gastric reflux, you name it. It's a massive big preparation, but when I do the preparation, I can be like perfect for the whole day. You know, please make sure it is continuous. I sit there and I really steam my chest. So what you can hear in my chest right now, I don't get. I do get it if I don't have the hot shower all the time. I'll have this all the time unless I'm in the shower every morning, every night, and I stand there and I just really go and get all this fluid off my chest, cough it up. Then I use the little handheld. I soak my back, I soak my hips where there's damage. It's like putting a hot pressure sort of bandage on it. I've got a slip disc in my back, damage to my knee. So I know what to do, and everything starts feeling lubricated. Perfect day, and then I wake up sick as a dog the next day and do it all over again. So I know what works for me, and believe me, please, I need continuous hot water. I really need a bathtub as well, but let's get around this hurdle first, please. Continuous hot water, please. Anyway, last one, my studies. Well, this is my birth certificate. I even got birth certificate copies and everything. So please don't make up stories about things. If you're confused about something, just ask me. I'm really an open book, and I'm probably too honest. I've often been the biggest downfall my entire life. My mum always goes, "You're too honest." Like, you're just like, shut up. Like, yeah, sometimes you're just too honest, and sometimes you just really shouldn't be so honest. That's my downfall. I think that's probably my bad trait. I am too honest with things. So look, here we go. Oh, that's my. These are here. Yeah, as you see. So look at Eddie's. I'm really upset that the last 10 years happened, because everything could have easily been explained by me. And look, this, mind you, that's a copy of my passport. I'll do it quickly. So I look darker in it, but yeah, I used to be really dark skinned. But then I was that was summer. That photo was taken in summer, in December in 2011, and I was at the beach all the time in 2011, and I was really dark. Now, I have not really gone to the beach much since 2014. So yeah, that is me, and that's me looking at my best. That's at my prime. No, not wearing makeup. That's how I look. If I was going back every single summer, spending at the beach and tanning, which I haven't done for a long time, my skin would just start going dark again and be right dark right through winter. You know, probably fade a little bit, but I do have that DNA. My grandfather, his skin was always dark. Didn't matter what time of the year. Didn't matter if he was covered up head to toe, like, you know, put him in a burqa. He would be dark skinned. He was naturally dark skinned. It even says in his documents, it doesn't say Caucasian, it says dark. His complexion's dark. And that's what Dad's father was. So with that, God has a lot of ums. I sound Canadian. Yep. And last one. So yeah, study documents. So work documents, study documents, everything's been verified, notarized, gone through Department of Foreign Affairs, apostilled. You can see my studies. I've literally had people get. So when I've said, yeah, but I've studied art, I'm an artist. And idiots, I'm like, yeah, but I am an artist. I used to enter art competitions. I've done artwork. I've actually done art and been paid for artwork that I've done. And I can show you this. I'm not going to bring it out now. For what I've done back years ago. I've been paid for it. But there was a piece of artwork that I did years ago that went for to make a poster up for the Retreat Theatre. Okay? I've done art. You know, I've studied it. Remember, I was a great artist. I really should be doing more with that. The same as when I studied design. There's my design studies. Now that's in '97 when I first touched on fashion design at TAFE College. The first time I touched on furniture design, fashion design. We even had to study ancient designs of like the Kabbalah and things like this. It was really fantastic. It was great. So it was design fundamentals. It just touched on all aspects of design. That was in '97 at TAFE College. Then in 2009, I got it, for design a wearable object. Okay, so that touched on fashion design again. And then of course the interior decoration, interior design there as well at TAFE College. These are just transcripts. I know I didn't pass a degree in it. I'm not an idiot. Like, this is as far as I got. Okay, but I still did first year at all the design courses, and I still studied it, and I still did work for Steve Hatch and Dimitri in design. So yeah, I've done what I've said. There is a statute declaration. Everything's accurate. No, I never had a psychotic breakdown. Oh my God, I can't believe that. I wasn't suicidal. I don't use drugs and I don't sell drugs. And I'm really upset with organizations such as government departments that really let defamation of character, that I kept saying to them, I said, this is criminal defamation of character. How can you let this go on for so long? And I'm so upset that this has gone on for so long. And when there's so much evidence that backs me up. And all you got to do is look at photos of myself when I'm younger. And I'm younger and beautiful, and my hair's all wavy and gypsy. And I'm thin. Because my hair is actually naturally wavy, like Dad Markey and Fleming's. But I always plaster it back. Look, if anyone makes up stories about this, listen, I've been getting up every morning and plastering my hair back like this since a kid. Brush it, course back, and that's it. That's how I get up and get ready for school. Okay, whether I wake up and my hair's poof like an afro, that's how I do when it's professional. This is what I do when it's for work. That's what I do when it's for Star Casino. Then when I finish work, I let my hair out and it's this wavy mess. Okay, so that's how I've always done it. It is naturally. It's always been long, even though it looks short in photos. It's always been long. Okay, but I've always done it professional look. School was like this, brushed, slicked back, plastered with hairspray, plastered with gel. Same for work at Star Casino. Finish work, let my hair out and be this sort of, mane of hair. Long mane, wavy hair. And that's a fact. So look, there is the documents there. There is the photos throughout my life. And I've done all this already. I'm just so furious with how things have been turned around for 10 years. And it's almost impossible to turn it back to where it was. I'm really hoping, really hope that it's possible. So, never said I grew up wealthy, but the lifestyle I had, I did have. It's in that statute declaration. So there's nothing that's untrue in that statute declaration. I've even left stuff out of the statute declaration. I could have put so much more into it, but I left it out. So I hope that's read. Anyone who's got it emailed to them, please take it on board. I'm not mentally retarded. I don't use drugs, never had a psychotic breakdown, gone through massive amounts of damage and injuries, and I don't think that should actually say who I am as a person, which is what I was even explaining, like when I went for immigration. I've got my original form for Medibank Solutions when I said, yeah, I was mugged and robbed after working in Glasgow Coma Skull 13. Ooh, it's like, ooh, maintain it. I've recovered. I maintain it. I've recovered. So there's nothing to worry about. I don't think I should be, judged on any of that ever in my life, or injuries or health conditions. But I also don't believe that the defamation of character and slander, that those people, groups and organisations, even government departments, should be allowed to get away with that in the last 10 years either. And I have asked my family. I've asked my mum. I've asked my mother. I've asked my mother's sister. Stupid mistake. Yeah. Oh, and that's the other thing. This wasn't Greyhound therapy. That's the other insane thing. So I'm going to leave it there because it's 10 minutes over the time I wanted. It wasn't fucking Greyhound therapy. Look, I just went and applied for a green card to the US. And that was it. And so the rubbish that my ex-partner Giovanni Consalvo went on along with, the rubbish that my mother did, rubbish that my twin sister did, the bullshit that even these doctors to do with my workers' comp went along with. Do you know how much money you guys cost me for your crap in the last 10 years? So we're not just talking about, and you'll see in the statutory declaration why I had so much money. Well, my salary was pretty much saved. I had fixed term deposits. You'll see that because I've got all the documents there. Fixed term deposits, large savings accounts. Plus, when I sold my house, 16 Scott Road, that I owned. Okay, so I only used to rent it out. Now, that place, I had a very little mortgage to begin with. Okay, very small mortgage. So I had it rented out all the time, more money than what the mortgage repayments had to be. So I paid more of my mortgage repayments. By the time I sold it, because I wanted to, not because I needed to, back in 2008, okay, I almost owned the place outright, not much more to pay on it. Okay, now I sold it for $189,000. $189,000, pretty much like just a little bit less than that, went into my bank account, into a bank account where I had fixed term deposits, savings, and so forth. So I had a lot of money sitting there. I never spent it. I didn't have to spend it. I already had my other money coming in. So that just sat there for me to move to America and buy a place in the US. And that raised red flags. It's like, well, it shouldn't have. And I want it back. Okay. But I say, we're not talking about just close to 200,000 here. We're talking about pain and suffering. Recklessly endangering my health with the wrong information or wrong diagnosis. Okay, we're talking about the defamation, which you want to be paying for that, or the criminal defamation, discrimination as well, and a big chunk of this is loss of salary. Loss of salary. My part salary payment was meant to be going to December 2017. Okay, and at the end of part salary payment, I was meant to be able to negotiate my job back. Leaving, I've still got the documents. They're there. I've got the originals, and the copies of those documents are here. So the copies of the return to work is here, and I'm with them because everyone else has thrown theirs out or shredded them. So I've got the original. It says to return to normal duties at the end of part salary payment, right? So that's December 2017. Okay, so that means negotiating my job back as somebody living with these health conditions and disability. Right? Now, that means I could get my job back as a VLP host at Star Casino or equivalent. Okay. The increased salary, now that salary has gone from $47,730 a year up to over $79,000 a year. Okay. And I wouldn't lose my job because I'm living with disability. You would have to work around me. And that's what I wanted. But wrong information in the beginning of 2017 gave the insurance company a loophole to forfeit. They wiped it. They said, oh, no, you've sectioned. So we don't have to acknowledge this now. So they fucked me up in 2017. Or because of false information, wrong information that was spread around, and it gave my ex-employer the loophole they needed to say, oh no, we don't have to do this now, because once you go for this section, it forfeits all your rights. So therefore we don't have to. So they didn't. So I didn't get my job back at Star Casino. So I've lost salary. So it's like the only good thing that was going to come out of this return to work was I get my job back, because I got nothing for the injuries. So I got fucked over because of an organisation making mistakes in 2017. Big fucking mistake that they did, and everything that they did was just damaging to my life, and I would never recover from it. And I've asked that organisation, the government department, needs to be taken to court for it. It's wrong information. And they fucked me over. And my mother's not going to do the right thing by me. And she won't. So I'm asking people, if she was going to do it, she would have done it by now. Okay? So I'm asking anybody that will help. I just want a legal team to go, yeah, look, this is wrong. The magistrate's already said you had wrong information back in 2017. Okay? A magistrate actually even said, like, when someone was making up a story about a psychotic breakdown, I was like, you never had a psychotic breakdown. You just harassed him. Like, literally, you're coming in his area of residence, breaking privacy and confidentiality laws. And he reacted to it. There's no breakdown. You'll break it. And so there's no evidence of this. There's no evidence of what they were saying. And that's it. Okay, you're making up stories about him. And that was it. They fucked over my return to work like you wouldn't believe. You never give insurance companies more than what they need. They gave them a leeway to get out of it. Like you think about it. No employer would want to accept someone back living with disability, knowing that if we accept him back, he'll be getting the same job on that high salary, and we can't fire him. He's living with disability. We can't fire him. And they gave, so 2017 gave my ex-employer and the insurance company the what they needed to wipe their hands of a return to work. Yeah, and just fucked over my life for good. Basically, until I can find a really good legal team that can go, yeah, you're gonna have to go back for the last 10 years and fix this. Okay, it just fucked me over. Fucked me over in America. Fucked me over with return to work. It just completely destroyed. I would not do this to my worst enemy. But again, there's the facts. There's the several documented facts that back me up. Oh, by the way. So my study documents, that's what an organisation was using, saying he had a breakdown. He said he studied design. It's like, he did study design. He's saying he had a green card to America. He does have a green card to America, and that's where magistrate said, so he does have a green card to America, and he did study design. And that's why you think he's had a breakdown? Yeah, he never had a breakdown. He's telling you the truth. So all I need now is a good legal team to say, okay, we're talking about how many years of damage in 2 countries, what it's cost you, and not just reimburse me. Those people, groups, and organisations responsible need to be charged and held accountable. I'll leave it there because it is 20 minutes over the time I wanted to stop.